What is acceptance, and what does it mean to truly accept someone? This question is explored through Alluka and Killua's character arcs, and as a trans girl myself, the fact that Togashi used a trans character to dissect the concept of acceptance means more to me than I could ever express. If you don't think Alluka is trans, I covered why she is in another video, the link will be in the description. Alluka and Nanika are literally different beings, but in this interpretation, I'm going to be looking at Nanika as a metaphor for transness. She's the reason Alluka is misunderstood, ostracized, and dehumanized by her family, and is also a great source of strength within her, a core part of who she is. This all resonates deeply with me and my experience of being trans, as I'm often met by others with misunderstanding, anger, and contempt purely because of an aspect of me I have no control over. At the same time, I find my transness to be a great source of personal strength that helps me understand others. I'll touch on that more later. At the point Alluka is introduced into the story, Killua's character arc is coming to a close. I went over his arc in more depth in my Killua video, the link will be in the description, but I'll go over it briefly here. When he was first introduced, Killua saw himself as darkness itself. Then, over time, he slowly learned to recognize that he had light within him, but he continued to fear the things he perceived as darkness and tried to avoid them. This came out most noticeably in his inability to talk to Gon about the darkness he saw growing in his closest friend and the one he saw as light. By the time he meets Alluka, he's found a sense of self, but he still fears the things he perceives as darkness, and isn't able to accept those aspects of himself or others. This fear is brought to the forefront through Killua's relationship with Alluka. He loves her, but fears Nanika, or rather, fears Alluka's transness and the things their family would do to her because of who she is. He embodies the concept of tolerance, caring about Alluka but not every aspect of her. He loves her, but he doesn't fully accept her. He wants to push away the parts of her that he doesn't understand, that he fears. This is a common rhetoric in the real world, this idea that you can accept parts of someone, but not all of them. This is the foundation of tolerance. When you tolerate someone, you see who they are or what they're doing is wrong, but you keep it to yourself. When you fully accept someone, you find beauty in the aspects of them that you can't understand, and you strive to be understanding. Alluka sees Nanika, or in this interpretation her transness, as a companion, a part of her very being. She loves and accepts every aspect of herself, even the parts that cause others to take advantage of and mistreat her. I can't help but resonate with that. My whole life growing up, something felt off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I felt different from everyone else, and other kids picked up on that. I was ostracized and bullied relentlessly, but didn't understand why. Eventually, I figured out what that difference was. I was a girl that everyone thought was a boy. From that point on, no matter what the world threw at me, I felt like I had a sort of companion, a confidence in who I was that I had never had before. I could describe that cognitive dissonance that had felt so indescribable for so long. In a strange way, my transness does feel like its own being that lives inside of me, something that I have to protect. And no matter how many people hate me for who I am, I don't feel spiteful of my transness. I'm grateful to it. Yes, life would be a lot easier if I wasn't trans, but my transness has given me something I would never give up, a form of understanding. Because of the experiences I've had being who I am, I understand what it's like to be hated, to be ostracized, to be dehumanized. Because I've experienced these things, I find it much easier to resonate with and be empathetic to those around me that are in pain. To make them feel comfortable and give them a space where they feel accepted and at least on some level, understood. It allows me to help others process their trauma and hopefully, over time, heal from it. This ability to understand and heal others is reflected in Nanika's healing powers. When people take advantage of her, she can cause great destruction, but when others see her as a person that isn't to be taken advantage of, she's capable of incredible healing and kindness. When Killua decides to tell Nanika to go away, we get to see clearly how both he and Alluka feel about her transness. Killua feels incredibly guilty for trying to erase Nanika, but in his mind, he's doing it for her own good. If he can make her uniqueness disappear, she can live without fear. Alluka reacts in a way that surprises him. She isn't thankful or even neutral, she's angry. She yells at him for thinking that he can erase a part of who she is. She tells him that if he's going to protect her, he has to protect all of her, not only the parts he can understand. She yells that if he won't accept her, she'll hate him. She's hurt that Killua would try to do this to her, that he would try to erase a fundamental part of her. She feels betrayed. But then, Killua does what many find themselves unable to do. He reacts with openness and empathy. He recognizes his lack of understanding and quickly moves to apologize and ask for forgiveness. He promises to protect both of them, or in this case, all of her, so that no one else will ever hurt her again. He finds his purpose, to protect his sister, to protect every aspect of her, and strive to fully respect and understand her. Here, he transitions from tolerance to acceptance. In our everyday lives, we find ourselves interacting with people that are different than us constantly. If we can all move forward, making an effort to understand and accept those differences, instead of digging in our heels and deciding that anything outside of our comfort zone is wrong, I believe that we can create a kinder and more empathetic future for everyone. This has been Evan. Thank you for watching.